When I talk about going on HRT, I feel like, oh, she is old. Oh, poor thing. And I'm not. And we're not. Because here's the thing, the way that you always thought about a woman who was 50 or 45 or 55 or 60 was that she was, kind of old and, no longer really that good looking and wasn't vibrant anymore. And that was because those women didn't have what we have. We can replace our estrogen. We can be healthy and vibrant and attractive much later in life than our moms and our grandmas were. So we don't need to be embarrassed. It doesn't mean that I'm a golden girl. It means that and I'm not saying this women are HRT though, I would guess. It means that I'm J-Lo or Jennifer Aniston or somebody else that you see, Shakira, that is vibrant and thriving as they go into their 50s and beyond.
This is StRest. I'm Kerstin Lindquist, health coach, author, and Emmy award-winning TV host. I've committed to helping people reduce stress through impressive health science, attainable mindset change, and biblical truth. Let's have a real conversation with zero judgment and endless solutions that you can use. You aren't alone. You can do this. Let me help you reduce stress and make room for rest.
All right, well, I feel like I'm a little bit naked doing this episode. It's something that I've been throwing around with, talking to you about, and I haven't really put it out on social media yet as I'm recording this, which is in September, the end of September right now. It is HRT and hormone replacement therapy. And yes, I know you're going to say, Kerstin, you talk about it all the time. We just had a wonderful summit, the Midlife Reset Summit. We talk a lot about HRT. I've had a lot of guests on here talk about HRT, but I haven't told you my HRT story. And that's because it's just kind of starting. And while I will get this out of the way right now and say that I am a big proponent of hormone replacement therapy. I have done a lot of research. I have had multiple guests, more than I could count on hands and feet, come onto this podcast and talk about HRT. I have talked to doctor after doctor. I've talked to my own doctors. And I truly believe in all the research that we now have in 2025, that HRT is the safest and most effective thing for women to start doing in order to not suffer through the second half of their life and also be protected against many types of diseases. And that's a big statement because what we were taught in the Women's Health Initiative and in the study that came out decades ago is that we should fear HRT because of the risk of cancer. But that has all been retracted. They've even come back and said, that's not the whole story. And the type of estrogen that was used in that study is not the type that you're going to get now. So even if there was any type of connection and correlation there, which if you ask doctors and researchers now, there absolutely isn't. But even if there was, it's not even the same type of estrogen. All of us who go into it now at this day and age are getting bioidentical. You are getting the patch, most likely. Maybe you're taking a pill. I will tell you, I'm taking the patch. And you will hear from doctors who will say, I'll probably die with a patch on. And happily, because it changes your life. Now, this is my story, which it often is when you come to this podcast, and you have to do your own research. We are all very individual. And I will say that till I'm blue in the face, that no two bodies are the same. So what works for me might not work for you. When it comes to how I lift weights, how I move, how I cold plunge, how I communicate with family, how I have my relationship with the Lord, it's not the same as yours. So you have to do what's right for you. But I think it does help to hear stories of other women and what they're going through and how it works for them. And I know that my decision to go on HRT was very impacted by just that, by listening to other women and hearing their stories, and then also doing the research and doing the studies myself.
We'll be right back. Don't go away. It's just getting good.
All right, I'm always telling you to get your labs done, and I'm insisting that you get specific labs done. Now there's a place to get all of that done for $199. This episode of StRest is thankfully brought to you by Superpower. It's the membership that gives you real answers about your health. What you get with Superpower is 100+ lab tests every single year, and they check everything from heart health to hormones to inflammation, and it's just for $199. No fighting with your doctor, no fighting with insurance. It's a 15-minute lab visit. The labs are everywhere around the US. You get your results in about 5 days. And here's the biggest piece that I love is that you also get a dashboard that gives you ideas and recommendations based on your lab work for your diet, for your lifestyle, which supplements you should take, even prescriptions. Here's the absolute best part. 63% of members discover early risk factors for diabetes. 44% uncover elevated heart disease risk, and 70% slow their pace of aging. Superpower is giving you superpower. It's lab data for real life changes. Join today. Go to superpower.com/Kerstin. That's Kerstin. Superpower.com/Kerstin. So I'll backtrack and tell you why I was interested in HRT in the first place. My mother, as you know, died from dementia. She had Alzheimer's dementia. It started very, very early. Now we know it probably started in her 40s easily, if not before, but we started to see the signs in her late 50s. She was diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment by 60. And then because they didn't have any of the information that we have now, they really didn't do much to try and stop or reverse it. It went to dementia and then Alzheimer's, and she died. My mother also happened to have cancer. She had breast cancer, she had thyroid cancer, and she had kidney cancer. So I did get all of the genetic testing for everything. I am a carrier of the APOE4 gene. I have one copy of the APOE4 gene, and I do not have the BRCA gene. However, from this podcast, I've learned that I probably need to get a more full genetic kind of makeup of other types of cancer risk factors. However, and here's where health science, biblical truth, here's where my faith comes in. When I have conversations with the Lord, which is every single day, and some days I'm closer to him than others, and some days I feel like I can hear him more than others, I don't feel like cancer is my fear. I just don't. There's times when I'm scared about it because I've had friends who have had it. But the thing that makes me a little bit more scared, and I know I shouldn't even have this fear because the Lord is all powerful, and I do truly believe that he is protecting me and that he has great plans for me. But I do worry a little bit more, and I know that that's a sin, about getting dementia. So when I think of health and Kerstin as this body that we're trying to keep as healthy as possible, what I will focus on more for myself, and it's probably different for you, I will focus on protecting my brain because I know all the other things that I'm doing, the way that I eat, the way that I move, the way that I sleep, all of it is very, very protective on the brain, but also against things like cancer as well. So I go towards anything that I can do to help with cognition. And also because I know I have that gene. I have the APOE4 gene, which, by the way, those of you who have it, and many of us do, it is not a death sentence. And you are just as likely, honestly, to get dementia if you don't have it as if you do have it. So HRT has been shown to be protective for the brain, especially when it started earlier. So when you start a little bit earlier in perimenopause or before you get to menopause, because a lot of times people will get into menopause or it'll be after menopause before they'll even consider HRT. The studies have shown, especially in the UK, that if you start earlier in perimenopause or before you hit menopause, you have an even more protective environment against cognitive impairment. So I feel like I started to see the first symptoms of perimenopause it was probably, now looking back, I was probably 38 or 39 when Ben was born, but also I had an infant. So seriously, How was I to know? And I wasn't doing this research then. So then it was probably 42 or 43 when I got my first case of frozen shoulder. And I did what everybody else did, who didn't understand that it was a hormonal thing. And I went to an orthopedist. I did PT. I got shots. I got x-rays and MRIs. And eventually it went away. Well, lo and behold, years later, in research, I realized that whole cold shoulder thing, or sorry, frozen shoulder, it's different. Cold shoulder is when you're being mean to somebody. That whole frozen shoulder thing does have cycles. It's about a 3 to 6 month cycle, sometimes a year, then it goes away and it can come back. So that was 42 or 43. And because I am so in tune with my body, every little move, and I wear 2 trackers currently right now, and I can see the shifts in my body now that I'm age 47, almost age 48. And last year, when I was just newly 47, I skipped my first period. I had my entire life, I'd had pretty difficult periods, but now we know it was a result of endometriosis, which was discovered later in life. I had surgery to take care of that, which, by the way, I have been clean bill of health for a year and a half at the recording of this. None of the symptoms that came with endometriosis before, which I didn't even know were symptoms, bloating, really, really painful periods, things like that. And people say, oh, you're never free from it. And I say, yes. However, I do have a really, 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 really good doctor who does ultrasounds and can look, and you can see evidence of scar tissue and what could possibly be more endometriosis. So I don't have any of the symptoms, and I do all the things to help. So I've really dialed in diet. I've really dialed in exercise, mindfulness practices, and I use castor oil packs all the time. So I am pretty confident in saying that I'm endometriosis free. The reason this is important is because that thrives on estrogen. So we'll circle back to that here in just a second. Anyway, I always had kind of difficult periods. 47, right after my 47th birthday, I skipped my first period and my hormones went crazy. If you go back in my Instagram page, you'll see pictures of my face just like broke out like cystic acne. It was devastating. I'm on television every single day, and it was horrific. I started to get hot flashes multiple times a day. I had night sweats. I'm like, what is going on? I had just gone on progesterone, oral progesterone. We stopped that. I found a really, really good doctor, an OBGYN, which, by the way, ladies, it took me years. It took me years to find a good OBGYN. And I will say this over and over again and preach it till I'm blue in the face. You are worth it. Keep trying. Go to multiple doctors. Pay the money to find a good one. I went to 5 gynecologist OBGYNs before I decided on the one who was going to open me up. And then after that, I went to a couple more to be able to find the one who was going to help me every single year for my yearly. And they are fantastic. So she's like, let's ditch the progesterone. Let's see what happens. Period came back. I stabilized. I don't have hot flashes. But in the last year, the periods have gotten much less. That's kind of nice, right? So lighter, but then also more infrequent. So I'll go 50, 60 days before having a period. Also, the frozen shoulder came back. Now, I will say the good news about that, there's no good news, but I know how to deal with it better this time. So just so you know, and I think that we did another episode on this, but here's a recap. Weightlifting, number 1 for the frozen shoulder. So if you go to the doctor and say there's a problem with my shoulder and they say, oh, maybe it's a rotator cuff injury, and they do all the scans like they did for me, it would be rest, rest, rest. It's the opposite when it's frozen shoulder. You need to lift, lift, lift. So it's weights, it's red light therapy, which I really believe in. It is acupuncture. That's worked for me like crazy. And it is an elimination diet. It is getting rid of anything inflammatory in your diet, which also means doing your fasting. So that's helped me. And actually, as of the recording of this, I had that pain for about 2 or 3 months and it's gone, which is great. But that kind of came back. Some of my other, I would say, perimenopause symptoms. I do get sweaty at night sometimes. It's not as bad as it was that one time, but I do get that sometimes. So I will wake up a little bit more. I've noticed, as a woman who is very dialed into her sleep and guards it like crazy, I wake up in the morning more tired without the energy, like that get up and go. So that's also a sign that my testosterone is low. So I wake up and I'm a little bit more tired. I can feel my body a little bit more, aches and pains. However, I do believe that the addition of collagen and creatine has really, really helped me in those areas. Collagen and creatine are fantastic. The ones that I take happen to be Ancient Nutrition. I also do Vita Hustle protein that has creatine in it, but creatine and collagen have been really, really helpful in that area.
Stay with us. There's so much more to come.
Hey friends, quick break. Today's sponsor is Ancient Nutrition. In this clip from my conversation with co-founder Jordan Rubin, what stood out to me was how Jordan distills it into two principles. Eat what God created for food and in the form that best serves the body. And how that philosophy really led to Ancient Nutrition and multi-collagen protein and its profound impact and use for the skin, hair, nails, bones, joints, and gut. Before we roll this clip, if you want to try it, please visit ancientnutrition.com and use the code StRest20 for an exclusive offer. That's ancientnutrition.com and the code StRest20. Here we go. Can you give people a little bit of your background?
When I was a teenager turning 19 years old, I started to get gut symptoms, and this ended up turning out to be a diagnosis of Crohn's colitis, which I went from 6 foot, 185 pounds and healthy to 104 pounds in a wheelchair.
It is such a remarkable story, and it highlights and pinpoints so much of what people listening are going through and everybody countrywide right now are going through. People are afraid to change their mind because of the way it's going to make them look. I think that you have to if you get new knowledge.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm just blessed, as I said, to have found the truth at an early age because I was so desperate. The truth is the truth. And according to the Bible, the truth sets us free. Every food group can be healthy provided that you understand two principles. One, eat what God created for food. And number two, eat the food in the healthiest form for the body or how it's best created.
What is regenerative farming then? Where somebody says, oh, I should be looking for food and produce that is grown, regenerative, organic, certified. What is that?
Regenerative means, in layman's terms, leaving a farm better than where you found it. And it is a progressive standard, which means every year our soil has more nutrition. Our plants have more antioxidants. Our animals are healthier. Whereas in a typical conventional farm, the soil quality and the ecosystem gets worse every year because you are only pulling out, you are never adding back. And we've decided at Ancient Nutrition to latch on to a really great standard called Regenerative Organic Certified because we believe it represents principles in soil health, animal health, and even farmer welfare that can transform our planet and ultimately the health of our people.
So let's go back for a second before we go forward, because I do want to talk about collagen and I want to talk about Ancient Nutrition. What was the basis for this diet that transformed your health in such a short period of time?
I called up my protege and good friend, Dr. Josh Axe, and I said, I have an idea. I had a severe knee injury and I needed something to transform my health. And I was able to find compounds that we now know as collagen. And I said to Josh, what if we created the multivitamin of collagen? He was recommending a collagen that had one or two types. And I said, what if we create a concept called multi-collagen protein? That was the first product that I created for Josh that later, when we joined forces, became Ancient Nutrition's multi-collagen protein. And that's how you and I met. And it's been a great opportunity for us to educate people that there are two important types of protein. One type builds muscle. One type builds skin, hair, nails, bones, joints, ligaments, tendons, and that is called collagen. And it has become a sensation over the last 15 years. And almost everyone I meet needs collagen to boost their physical appearance, to improve their joint health, their gut, and so much more. It's the missing protein that holds us together. And that has been really the leading message at Ancient Nutrition for 9 years.
You are such a blessing to so many. And thank you for listening to the Lord and sharing your story and keeping us healthy. It was great to have you. Don't forget to try your own multi-collagen protein and everything at Ancient Nutrition's website with a discount. Use the code STREST20 at checkout. That's STREST 20 at checkout. Enjoy. Should we have a conversation about sex and how I love my husband more than anything else, but I just don't want him to come anywhere near me. I want to kill him if he tries to touch me. And I know that that's hormonal. That's not normal. So I know that that's a part of things happening as well. A little bit drier mouth. That's a sign of perimenopause. Sight. I mean, obviously I'm getting older, but I just finally got some glasses for far away at night or for early reading. Just more signs and symptoms that my estrogen, she be gone. My poor estrogen, the one that we love so much, she's just fleeting. I also had some major skin issues when I skipped that first period when I just turned 47. I mean, major skin issues. So I finally went, oh, and the biggest one, how can I forget, word finding a little bit. I wouldn't call it brain fog, just kind of word finding. And that is the one that's like, okay, we're done. We are not going there because let's go back to me talking about my biggest concerns, which would be cognition and cognitive impairment. I'm not going down a road where I'm starting to have any type of cognitive decline and I'm not going to do something about it right away. So I went back to my lovely, and by the way, she is a nurse practitioner, OBGYN. I will say again and again, NPs and DOs and PAs oftentimes are the ones that are going to help you more than your just traditional doctor. So find a good one. So she sat with me here. This is the story that I love to tell you. I had a 15-minute virtual constellation. Constellation would be up in the sky. Consultation would be what I had. 15 minutes. And I was like, how are we going to have this conversation in 15 minutes? Now, I had some faith because I had had hours and hours long conversations with her in the past. And yes, I know this is crazy. She's covered by insurance. I know. Y'all should flock to Pennsylvania so you can get in with Life Cycle Wellness. So I've had 90 minutes with her before. So I was like, okay, well, she kind of knows my history. I guess, 15 minutes, we can get it done. But girl, I'll tell you what, that woman, she's like 15 minutes. I was on with her for an hour. Those her poor other patients, or she just knew herself. I was on with her for an hour. And instead of doing what I did last year, and I didn't do it with her, I did it with a different naturopath. I did hormone testing, thinking, well, that's the way we go, hormone testing. It didn't show much. Didn't show my hormones were so bad. And we now know that that's just a snapshot. It's even though I did the urine testing, it's still very hard to get a really good picture of your hormones. I heard it said best that trying to get a picture and do estrogen for a woman in her 40s or in perimenopause is like pinning the tail on a moving donkey. It's because your estrogen's doing this all the time. If you're watching me on YouTube, I'm going up and down, up and down, up and down. It's ridiculous. So it's hard to get an accurate picture with testing. So my lovely doctor, she goes by symptoms. So we had a long conversation about symptoms, and then she asked me other questions about symptoms and wrote all of these things down. And then afterwards, God bless her, she says, here's what we're going to do. This is our Bible. Not really Bible. We actually love the actual Bible, but this is the Kerstin's, her body book. We're going to come back in a few months and I'm going to ask you about every single one of these symptoms and others and see if what we're doing is the right thing. So she was game for putting me on HRT given my symptoms. We did no testing. There was not a blood test to be had, but my symptoms would warrant HRT. Let that be your first takeaway. Your symptoms are really what need to guide you. Testing can come back and you can say, oh, you're perfectly fine. But if you are feeling like something's not fine, continue to find the practitioner that is going to listen to you and go by your symptoms. So she did, and she put me on the estradiol patch and progesterone orally. And she put me on what she called kind of medium range. She's like, I could start you at the very beginning at the low dose, but I think I want to start you in the middle. You'll probably get relief faster, and we can always dial back if you want. And again, remember, we're going back to my reason for doing this. Nothing to do with vanity. It's not even that piece about wanting to have sex with my husband. I hope my kids aren't listening to this. But it really is more to do with protecting my brain and quality of life. I want to have I want to be happy and joyful and be able to access that. And I will say that was another little bit of a symptoms that I was feeling was I wasn't getting that joy spark. I'm doing so many things in my life right now that are so fun and so exciting, and all the things are happening, and I'm still kind of like, I'm kind of like Eeyore. Let me go sit in the corner and eat worms. Like I can feel that way sometimes, and that's not me. I've always been emotional. I've always been sensitive. So I cannot blame crying a lot on any change in hormones. I mean, because that's just Kerstin from day one. I wish I could talk to my parents and they could tell me how I was when I came out of the womb. I bet I cried for like 5 days because I was just like so hurt that I had been taken away from a womb. Which PS, and by the way, that was Georgia. Georgia's my second daughter, the one who did come from me biologically. Oh, the wind blew after she came out of the womb, and she was crying about things. Okay, I can't tell stories about the kids anymore. I've been told, Mom, stop. We don't want to be on social media anymore, and you can't tell us stories about us. Okay, sorry, I'll stop. Just that one little one, and I love them so much because they're so cute. So the emotionality part of it and the mood part of it, I think a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. So she put me on kind of a middle of the road. I'm doing 200 milligrams a night of progesterone, and I'm doing the estradiol patch, which I change twice a week. It's a little tiny patch like this big if you're looking on YouTube. It's super easy to put on, and you go about your day. So now I have had clients and people who have gone on bioidentical hormone replacement therapy and have had not great results right away, have gotten sick or haven't felt good or symptoms reversed. That's when you go back to your practitioner and you ask to adjust whatever has happened and whatever you're doing. Don't give up. It's just like when you go to a therapist, it makes my just skin itch. And not in the hormonal way. When people say, I went to a therapist once and I tried it and I didn't like it. Go to a different one. Go to 3, go to 4, go to 5. I want to come back to you are worth it. You are worth the hard work that it takes to find the right doctor, to find the right therapist, to find the right mix of HRT or anything else. Your body and your relationship with Christ should be the area in which you put the most effort, energy, focus, and curiosity. Why are you giving more attention to your Instagram page, to even to your family members, to shopping, to eating, to what other hobby do you have? Television shows, to anything other than your relationship with the Lord and this vessel that he gave you. Obviously, relationship with the Lord first. That's the most important thing. That's the one that gets the most attention. But after that, it's got to be this vessel that he gave you. It's got to be your body and your brain because, and I said this all the time on QVC, but I used to say when I was talking about healthcare and supplements and exercise, I was like, nothing else in this entire place matters. You can't buy jewelry or shoes or clothes or food if you're not well enough to use any of them. If you're not well enough to pick up the phone and order them or go on the internet and order them. So the first place that you need to put your energy and your attention and your money is to your health. But people tend to just write that off to, oh, insurance should pay for it. And, oh, I don't have time to be healthy. I don't have money to be healthy. I don't have time to go to the store. I don't have time. I don't have the money to pay for any kind of quality food. I get a lot of pushback on some of the more expensive modalities that I will promote, but it's all a decision. You guys, you have to figure out what's the most important thing to you. And I get that times are hard and I get that not everybody has a lot of money, but you decide what you're going to spend your money on. You make the decisions. You make those hard decisions. Life is all about making hard decisions. When I meet with people and I'm coaching them, and they say, well, listen, I can't go to bed earlier, or I can't change the way I eat because my husband eats like this. I will ask these questions. Do you think maybe you need to consider a different job if it's keeping you from being healthy? Do you think maybe you have to have a conversation with your spouse about, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing for my health, and I want you to get on board with it, as opposed to just hiding that conversation because it's too hard. So none of this is easy. Sometimes it's a lot of hard decisions. So back to that mix of HRT, you might go on it if you decide to do it and it doesn't work perfectly for you at first. So go back and get it changed. Try again if it's something that you are committed to. But don't expect that everything's going to be kind of a fix-all right away. You're going to go to a doctor, they're going to be perfect. You're going to go on HRT, it's going to be absolutely perfect. Now back to my story. It's been great. It's been a week and a half so far. I feel good. I think maybe mood was improved a little bit, although I had some really, really tearful, emotional last couple of days, but that had more to do with family matters than it had to do with anything else. Oh, I do think perhaps the HRT is kicking in. Sleep has been great. Okay, I will tell you this. I started taking that 200 milligram progesterone about an hour before bedtime, and oh my goodness, it's the best thing in the world. I feel like I'm getting away with something, or like I'm having like an illegal drug. It's not. It's just, it feels so good. I start to lay down and go to sleep, and I was like, wow, I'm really tired. This is so good. I'm so happy. I love progesterone. I've always loved progesterone. I use the topical, and I talked to my doctor about that when we were deciding what to go on. And she's like, topical, we're not saying it's bad. We're just saying we don't know exactly how much you're getting when you put topical on. So it's better to do oral. So I did oral, and God bless it. I told her, I was like, I'll do whatever you want. When I was trying to get pregnant, I was doing progesterone suppositories, and I would happily take those to keep that baby inside of me. And I would happily take them now if you told me that that was the thing that was going to get me to feel good and be cognitively protected through middle age. So more to come of the story. I have been a little bit, okay, let's go back. Let's go to that piece about why I haven't really shared it so much on the internet. When I talk about going on HRT, I feel like, oh, she is old. Oh, poor thing. And I'm not. And we're not. Because here's the thing, the way that you always thought about a woman who was 50 or 45 or 55 or 60 was that she was, kind of old and, no longer really that good looking and wasn't vibrant anymore. And that was because those women didn't have what we have. We can replace our estrogen. We can be healthy and vibrant and attractive much later in life than our moms and our grandmas were. So we don't need to be embarrassed. I don't need to be embarrassed about going on HRT. It doesn't mean that I'm a golden girl. It means that and I'm not saying this woman on HRT, though I would guess, it means that I'm J-Lo or Jennifer Aniston or somebody else that you see, Shakira, that is vibrant and thriving as they go into their 50s and beyond. On StRest, we talk a lot about supporting the systems in your life that hold you up, your habits, your routines, sleep, but that also includes your feet. Remember that song we used to sing, knee bone connected to the hip bone? That's not right, but you know where I'm going with this, right? It's all connected, and it starts with your feet. And if you're like me, you probably sacrificed comfort to style more times than you can count. I was able to join Revitalign when I worked at QVC to create really, really great shoes, flip-flops, sandals for you for many years. And now they are a sponsor of StRest. I love this brand. My entire family wears them. It's all about aligning your body from the ground up, literally, but also doing it with super cute styles. I wear them around the house, on long days of filming, even traveling, of course, down at the beach. And the difference is my body feels better at the end of the day. And that's what I want for you as well. Going into a new season, make sure you get yourself new, good shoes. And we have a discount for you. Visit wacoshoecompany.com. That's WACO shoecompany.com and enter the code Kerstin, KERSTIN 20 for 20% off everything from really cute wedges to boots to sneakers. Get out there and get your sneakers. That's Waco Shoe Company, WACO shoecompany.com, and put in the code Kerstin20, KERSTIN 20. So you get 20% off and support yourself from the ground up. I really felt like I had to share with you because I encourage women all the time to consider HRT and to not be afraid of it. And now that I'm doing it myself, I kind of want to shout it from the rooftops. I'm excited about it, but at the same time, it does pull up some unease. So it was important for me to talk to you about it. And I will say it again, just so we're completely clear. I have zero fear of getting cancer as a result of it. If you have a uterus, it's essential, and any good doctor will do this with you, that you are taking your estrogen with progesterone. We do not give, or practitioners do not give estrogen by itself if you still have a uterus. Always given with progesterone, because the estrogen kind of grows it and makes, it's like growing the lawn, and then the progesterone kind of keeps it so it doesn't overgrow. Because also, back to the endometriosis piece, that is an overabundance of estrogen. So I must have been estrogen dominant at some point, which is what caused the endometriosis. And so if I have endometriosis, why would I want to supplement estrogen? Well, I think my estrogen is almost completely gone because I don't feel, or it's at least gone a lot, I don't feel the symptoms of estrogen dominance anymore. I don't have the endometriosis growing. I would feel most likely some of those symptoms again as well. And so, but taking the progesterone is going to keep that estrogen where it needs to be, so I don't have the over and abundance. Tracking there as well. So I'm, not only do I have cancer in my mom's side, endometriosis as well. So I would easily be that woman 10 years ago who a doctor would say, absolutely not. Will you ever go on HRT? It's too dangerous for you. But the newest research shows us that that is not the truth. Now, I am not a doctor. I'm a medical researcher. You have to do your own research. You have to dig into all of this on your own and do what you think is best for your bodies. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just sharing my story because I think it's helpful for other people. But as a woman who does have cancer in her genealogy and from my mom, also my grandma, as a woman who has dementia from my mom and is an APOE4 carrier, as a woman who has endometriosis or had endometriosis, and as a woman who is not even menopausal yet, I am definitely perimenopausal because I still have a period. I am all for myself taking hormone replacement therapy and not going into it lightly, going in a little midway like my practitioner did for me. So more to come. Keep updated with me on social media. Instagram is Kerstin.Lindquist. StRest.Kerstin.Lindquist is the podcast. Hey guys, big question ask. Would love for you to all go to YouTube, Kerstin.Lindquist on YouTube. I think that's kind of where the future is. That's where we can share the most. We do over 130 different clips a month on YouTube. I know. You get to see maybe one a day on Instagram, 130 a month on YouTube. Great pieces from health science and biblical truth, from doctors, from experts, from thought leaders, from Christians just like me and you. So please go to YouTube and follow me there. Subscribe, Kerstin.Lindquist, completely free. I really want to grow that place, that community. I feel like it's a good one because, some places online can be and I feel like it's a pretty good one right now. So please go over there. And then, of course, sign up for my newsletter on my website, Kerstin-Lindquist. Don't know how to spell my name? It's Kerstin. Kerstin-Lindquist. Sign up for my newsletter. It comes out once or twice a week. And I give you a lot of great health science and biblical truth. And I just kind of keep you up to date on everything as well. All right, friends, be well and rethink your hormones. Coming up on the next episode of StRest, Rebecca Lyons. She's been seen on the Today Show, Good Morning America, CNN, Fox, Huffington Post, Hallmark, Home and Family, and so much more. I hope that you've had a chance to read many of her best-selling books. She talks so openly about panic disorder and anxiety. We talk about Sabbath. We talk about adoption and her 4 children as well. This is a woman who has a remarkable connection to the Lord, and she's going to help you push past some of the things that are making you try and control the outcome every step of the way. I can't wait for you to meet Rebecca Lyons on the next episode of StRest.
If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your reviews help others find the podcast and join our community. Follow me on social media at Kerstin.Lindquist for daily tips and inspiration. And visit my website at www.Kerstin-Lindquist.com to sign up for our newsletter and receive exclusive content. The information provided in this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be considered a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions that you may have regarding a medical condition. The host of this podcast is a certified health coach and medical researcher, not a licensed medical professional, and the content shared does not constitute medical advice. While we strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information, we encourage you to do your own research and consult with your healthcare provider before making any changes to your healthcare treatment plans. Thank you for joining me on this journey to reduce stress and make room for rest. Remember, you're not alone. Keep coming back, share your story, ask for help, and give yourself grace.